welcome to the Marching Arts Podcast, your guide to all things marching.
The literally first episode / pilot.
The very first episode, the introduction.
Right.
Yeah, if you're here, it's because you're new here with us, and you're looking to see kind of a little bit about what you're getting into, or
what you might not want to get into,
or you might not want to get into. Hopefully, that's not the case. Or you've been with us for a while and just never watched the intro. Welcome back.
Yeah, Easter eggs in this episode.
Easter eggs. I don't know. I gotta say some like keyword that will bring back like 20 episodes down the line.
Hey there, Delilah.
Hey there, Delilah.
What's it like in New York City? That's all we can do before we get copyright strikes. Hey.
I said different lyrics.
Oh, okay. No, we had to shift keys every so often.
Yeah, change the tempo. But to kind of just start us off and kind of get into, what this podcast is and what we're doing here, we'll talk a little bit about ourselves and who we are, right? So, James, why don't you tell us, who are you? I know.
Anyways.
Do it for me, please.
So just to put it out there, I am the more introverted one, and Harrison is literally a salesman, so he's extrovert. So
I talk on the phone all day, every day.
Yeah, so that's the dynamic we have. We like that dynamic, but I have been doing band since 4th grade and have never stopped. Well, obviously, I dated myself there, so you don't even have to diss me like that. They already dissed me in the comments.
Look, when you guys watch the first full episode, I've already been labeled as the boomer of the marching arts. Okay? That's true. So he is not. He might be older in age, but I am older in.
Yeah, I'm the cool uncle.
I mean, you're just cooler than me, though.
That's true.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I did bands starting in 4th grade. Haven't stopped since. Well, I had to stop, when I left college 5 years ago. Yikes. I did high school marching band, college marching band. I also did indoor drumline in high school, not in college, but I still love my days as labeling myself as a percussionist. Go cymbals. I played flute and piccolo, Mr. And, just like Harrison right over here, who's judging me, loves all thing marching arts. We will try to our best to always include guard and percussion. So absolutely. WGI, DCI, indoor. So
we are knowledgeable about those topics as well.
Yes, and we will always try. If you feel like we're not covering them enough, call us out, because when we're human, we'll sometimes just let it slip.
Call us out on our mistakes, and we'll gladly fix them.
So, that's my intro. Tell us about yourself, Harrison.
Well, my band career started 6th grade. Did the whole middle school thing, and then transferred into high school, where I kind of did one thing. I stayed a low brass player. I jumped instruments a little bit, but I primarily stayed with trombones. It's my favorite instrument in the world's okayest trombone player.
Okay.
And after high school, went to go play at Georgia State, marched with them for 2 years, and then went to Kennesaw, where you and I met. I've taught at several different programs. I've been, I was drum major of the Kennesaw State Band. I've marched in the Macy's Day Parade. I've performed at bowl games and at FCS playoffs. Didn't get the opportunity to do an FCS championship game because I don't go to North Dakota State. But, I'm a big fanatic of general effect and the music side of it, and watching the physical aspect of marching band, and just how that all develops, and big brass guy, and like you said, I'm the extroverted one. I will talk to a brick wall if I have to, and enjoy it.
And you do sometimes.
And I do sometimes. But with, we can sit here and talk about ourselves all day, or at least I could, but, what's that say about me? But both of us got together because we can't shut up about the marching arts. Anytime we get together,
right,
whether we're playing D&D or we're doing
Chilling,
anything else.
right.
So we always talk about band or the marching arts. And you brought the idea up that we should make a podcast out of it.
Right.
So here we are. So what is this what are we doing here?
We just want to cover current events because, we've both been out of the field, as it were, 5 years. I think we said industry in other episodes, but, this whole general field of marching arts and, but we love it so much, like we can't let go. And we think that there are probably thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, of millions of us out there that just want a way to listen to other people just talking about the marching arts
And stay in touch.
And I'm sure there's tons of kids out there as well who are in middle school getting up to that high school, and maybe there's no 8th grade night.
Yeah.
Maybe your high school doesn't have a marching band, but the neighboring high school offers a marching band, but you don't know if you want to go do that. So we just want to inform people and maybe help them make some decisions in their life that will hopefully bear fruit.
Yeah, and things that we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the pretty cool, things. We're going to talk about the not so cool things.
Right.
The beautiful things about the art, the ugly things,
right.
the pretty ugly things.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not all sunshine and rainbows.
Absolutely
everywhere.
Not. And if you think it is, we are hoping to change your mind that it isn't.
But we're also, we're just trying to, keep you informed about it. Just because something bad happens does not make it a negative overall, subject. It's just, there's just sometimes things bad happen.
Right.
And we want to talk about it and keep people informed. And that kind of leads us right into our next little topic here. Primarily, we want this to be kind of both educational / opinionated.
Right.
Because you and I are both pretty strong, opinionated people.
Right. Well, so like, for example, we'll just bring up a topic and we'll say this is a state of it right now in the world, and do we like it or not? And then we'll just expand on that for the next 10, 15, hopefully no longer. But, some people can have very strong feelings about certain things, like, say, electronics and marching arts. Do we like that? Obviously, go watch our other episode if you want to know our opinions on that. But that's the thing. We'll just bring up objective facts that are happening within the world. And then if there's like things we need to expound on that personally, then we'll just expound on that. And please let us know how you feel about it, because maybe we're the ones that are the 1%, and maybe everybody else, with your history and your prior experiences know that we're just wrong.
And I mean, to your point, that's the audience. I mean, we want to market to people and be with people that are interested in hearing about the marching arts, whether that be they're currently involved, want to be involved, or we're involved and just want to stay in touch.
Mm-hmm.
We want to build an open community with that, and just make it a safe haven for anybody who likes the marching arts, regardless of if it's band, WGI, DCOU, alphabet soup competition.
Right.
And I mean, and we're going to bring people on here as well. And I mean, we're going to bring all different types of people. At the time that we're, talking about this, we've already had conversations about, having some university professors come in. We've had personal friends of ours that come in that are involved or have had impact in the community.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what am I missing? I don't think I'm missing anything right now.
I don't think so. But we do want people that have graduated high school just to update us on what's happening in the high school world, because we're decade out of high school, so like we can't really speak to that. But so we want to.
Arts change so often, as to how things happen. So, that's another reason why we talk about follow us on the socials, because we're gonna. So to kind of give our roles here, I'm gonna be the one managing all of the social medias, the advertising, things like that, and he's gonna handle the
editing, scripts,
editing, the back end stuff like that. So we're gonna post questions for you guys that we're honestly looking for an answer about. What your game day ritual is, or what's your favorite pastime for your section,
Mm-hmm.
or what's an unspoken rule that you guys go by. And we'll talk about those things, and we'll look at those, and we'll see which ones could warrant a
Right, discussion.
Um, but in order for us to be able to do those things, we have to get feedback. We have to get other opinions from the audience. So that's, where primarily we're going to get that. How should listeners do that and give us feedback is by following us on the socials. Facebook's probably a good one.
Right.
Even though a lot of people have it's a rough spot with Mark Zuckerberg right now, but but that's a good one. Or you also
Reddit,
and we're everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So anywhere that you want to offer us feedback, we'll take it.
Right. And I do want to bring up the stuff that we might necessarily not cover. I don't think we're ever going to be a reaction podcast where we're literally watching shows
right now
and saying this is what you should fix, this is what your group should do better. It'll be more so just tell us your group history. If we do have guests, and tell us your group history, this is how we do things, and then we might compare it against our experiences. But we definitely don't want to say, oh, these groups are bad, stuff like that.
I think maybe at some point, way down the line, we might do something like that where we might look at a performance and talk about it. But to your point, I don't want to ever label a
group as bad.
As bad or good.
Right.
To cast favoritism. When we get in another different type of episode that we're going to be releasing during the DCI seasons, we'll be pretty opinionated because we have our favorite cores.
Right.
At that point, we're kind of dedicated to that core. Whereas just watching a random video, I would hate to watch a video and be like, man, that was garbage. But then have one of those people watch our podcast and then be down. Like, wow, why
I hate the marching arts now because somebody put me down.
Right. So I would, if we saw a performance that was lackluster down the line, I'd be like, oh, well, you guys could try these kinds of things.
Right. And, sometimes it's nobody's fault if your group is small because different areas of the country just have different populations. And
just because you have a small core doesn't
mean you're bad or you're not good. So we're never going to be judging or reacting to videos about cores or groups. I will, as Harrison did bring up, we will do little weekly episodes when DCI is in session or BOA is in session or WGI/indoor is in session. But more so that's hey, these are the cool cores we thought were, these were the coolest cores we thought we saw or groups. And then we'll just be more so reacting the judges' scores will be man, judge number 3 was whack or he's out of line, stuff like that. But those will be more shorter segments, maybe 15-20 minutes at most, just saying, hey, this is what we saw and this is what we liked. But for the main podcast, it'll always just be what are opinions on stuff,
and information,
right?
And a place for you to come hang out.
So how do we sort of listed what type of guests we wanted? How do those people reach out to us?
Well, the same way, right? You could reach out to us on the socials, and I can get in contact with them, and I would talk to them personally, at least for now, right? Because we're not some ginormous corporation podcast. But no, I would have a conversation, see what they want to talk about. What angle do they want to talk about it? See if that's something that we feel comfortable talking about, if we know enough about it, which I feel pretty confident in my knowledge about anything that has to do with the marching program,
right?
But however, there's gonna be you don't know what you don't know,
right?
But that would be probably the best way, or you guys can email us at the Marching Arts Podcast.
That's the only one
at gmail.com.
The full podcast in it.
Yeah, it's the only one's got the full podcast in it.
But if you have anything to do with the marching arts, please don't hesitate to reach out if you think you have something interesting to cover, because we want to cover all the different competitive / circuits out there that have to do with marching arts. We want judges, we want the the behind the scenes people, the people that actually come up with the schedules, reach out to bands or groups.
The ops managers,
Right.
anybody that's involved in a program, even down to the librarians.
Right. Maybe even the social media managers. How do you put your group out there? Like what is like the recurring theme? People who just graduated from programs. Because like again, we said we've been out of it and we don't know like what are the current trends. So yeah, if you think you have something value to bring to the table, like just reach out. We'll try to figure out a way to make it work.
Yeah, and then also to that same point, bring up something that we might have not seen before. I mean, again, we cannot shut up about this stuff. So, and we nerd out about it. So if you give us something we haven't seen before, we will dive headfirst into it and try to figure out all of it.
So excited to cover like international marching groups because I love watching those, and I want to show you the world of international.
Oh, definitely not going to sing that song because Disney would attack me instantly.
Attack us. Our podcast would end before it ended, or before it started.
It would end before it ended,
which is true.
Well, I guess so. I mean, but as far as people reaching out to us, I mean, on the same time, on the same token, same coin, however you want to put it. I'm going to reach out. I would. I mean, I keep saying we will reach out to them as well.
Right. We'll be posting on Facebook, Reddit.
Right. We're going to try to post once, twice a week on there. Just some facts that we know are found or guests that we're trying to have or anything like that. So, but that'll be more reaching out. I mean, and any update that happens with us will be out on there. We'll talk about them on here.
Right.
I mean, pretty standard.
We didn't even mention what our release schedule is going to look like. It'll be weekly. So every Tuesday in the morning, because we figured it's bright and early, everybody will have a chance to get it. And then
easy listening.
Right. And then probably maybe Sunday or Mondays I don't know, I guess we'll have to tinker with it when we do those like quick 20-minute, scores updates.
Yeah, right. The rankings.
Right. And what we think about how the visual effects and
hopefully
judging is going.
Hopefully we have that figured out.
Yeah. Now that I think about it, like since most of those scores happen on Saturdays.
Yeah.
That'll be up for us to decide, I guess. Or just let us know. Yeah. Anyways, what do we personally hope to accomplish with this podcast?
We talk about this in the first episode a little bit, towards the end of the episode. But personally, I want to bring and cultivate a community for people that are looking for somewhere to be involved with band and involved with the marching arts, and be surrounded by like-minded individuals, be able to have discussions, be able to ask questions and get an honest answer. Marching arts people are one of a kind.
Yeah.
And, and I want to have that community, but personally, I would love to make this what I do. To make, because everything's about money in some aspect. I don't want it to be just about money, because I mean, music is more than money. But if I could sit here all day and just look at marching stuff and then talk about it, that's supreme.
Is that even is that meme even alive anymore?
Probably not.
Probably
I'm a
not.
boomer though.
Yeah, you're just catching up now.
I am.
Now you're just gonna be quoting supreme memes.
I'm like the internet explorer of.
You're our Jonathan Swan on this podcast.
Maybe
Jonathan, we love you, but
yeah,
you need to be updated on your memes, bro.
Oh.
But for me personally, I guess I'm more wholesome. If we can just convince one person that's in middle school, or even just like in high school, like, should I do band? I don't know, and their friends can't convince them, and the friends like, go watch this podcast, maybe it'll convince you, and they say, okay, now I will. Or even if like you were like me, who was a woodwind for the first 3 years of their high school career, and then you saw indoor was a thing that you might want to do, you're not sure, and like maybe we'll be able to convince you to like, hey, yeah, you can just pick up an instrument as long as you put in the dedication. So I don't know. I guess I'm more like hopeful that
You're,
somebody will want to.
I mean, you're the good one out of the two of us.
Yeah, if we make money, cool. If not, whatever.
I mean, I mean that's how I feel about it as well. But I have to be personal about it. I can't.
Right.
I'm not gonna lie.
Right.
Um,
We will be our honest selves as much as we can on here. If we, God, that'd be so cool. If we ever had sponsors, it's like, hey, we want you to say that this lube is better than the other lube for instruments. And we knew objectively that it was not, we'd be like, no. Right. So,
okay, but keeping it honest, right? So we have to talk about this, right? Because we're talking about ourselves and getting people introduced to us. For you, James, what would you say the most embarrassing and an embarrassing moment in your marching career?
Taking a football off the face. Hey-o.
Hey-o.
It was a Kennesaw game.
Did you catch it with like your teeth?
No, it was off the chin. I was holding a couple of things in the stands because, you know, you're just drinking water, having a good time, holding your instrument. And the field goal was good, I believe, but, you know, it started veering right because I was on the right side of the stands. And I panicked and I didn't know what to do with my hands, so I only tried to catch it with one hand and it bounced off my hand and into my face. Luckily, I don't think too many people saw it, so... But yeah, that was the most embarrassing moment in my marching career. What about you?
Oh, man.
Choose your top.
I gotta think. There's a lot, man. You know me. Man, most embarrassing in my marching career.
Fall down, forget inch notes, frack some notes.
Oh, I mean, everybody fracks notes.
During a solo.
Okay. I mean, now that you bring that up.
Oh, did I jog your memory?
On one of them.
Oh, okay.
When I was at Georgia State, they played Georgia on My Mind.
Fantastic song.
Fantastic song. Little Effects, Ray Charles wrote it about his sister.
Sounds like you were saying, like, check the Carfax.
Yeah. But it was Ray Charles, right? I didn't say the wrong name.
You tell your story. I'll let you know.
Okay. I'm gonna make sure I don't have the wrong name. But anyway, we were playing that, and it opens with a trombone solo, right? So you had to audition for it every week, and I'd practice and practice and practice, and I was perfect, right? Nailing it. Sounded great.
Chef's kiss.
But Picasso. See, I'm behind. I'm old, man. 2 weeks behind, if not more.
I'd say Picasso was like 50 years behind, bro.
Yeah, whatever. I'm a boomer anyway. But you know, we did this thing called Panther Walk, which is where the football team shows up and they walk into the stadium. And we were playing the Georgia on My Mind, and I got selected to play the solo, so I was really excited. And I had to get up on this big stairwell, standing right next to one of my good friends who was the drum major of the band, one of the drum majors of the band, because he stood there and cued me on. I was standing right next to him, right, and I was, you know, cleared everything out of the horn and everything. I was ready to go, right, and then so he cues me. I get the first like 2 notes, right, sounded great, and then I fracked every single note after that for the rest of the solo. Every single note. It was an absolute disaster in front of all these people that I like stopped playing like 2/3 of the way through because it was such a tragedy. And on top of that, I split my lip.
Oh.
So
ouch.
it was oh man. I think that's probably takes the cake.
Yeah. That would cause secondhand embarrassment in most people.
Yeah. Yes.
It would be a good episode for us to do. Have a non-musician come onto our podcast, and we like ask or like maybe we prep them with videos of like performances we know there are mistakes and see if they can find them, and see if it's really true when the band director says, Nobody will notice if you miss a couple notes.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
I like that.
I also was thinking, like, man, if we could have Banksy write a marching art show, it would be a one time only. But then I guess we would have to shred the humans that did that show, or else it wouldn't be a Banksy piece.
I guess not. What if John Mackey wrote a marching show?
Boy, it'd just be a lot of it would just be Stomp, the musical.
The percussion groups.
Yeah.
Or it would just be a synthesizer because it has everything on piano.
That's true. That's not true.
I thought he does.
No, he's a percussionist. So he just writes everything for percussion.
Oh.
And then everything else.
John Mackey's great, though. Have you ever met him?
Yeah, I want to say yes. I think I've seen him. I'm not, maybe not
he is
met
super
him.
high energy.
Oh, well, it makes sense. He's a percussionist.
Yeah. But he's a cool guy. I like my grandma. I like John Mackey.
Sounds like you said you like your grandma. And I'm like, I sure hope you do.
Yeah, I do like my grandma.
Anyways, we've as you've seen, we will go on lots of tangents, and we love to explore tangents. Yes. So if you are not a tangent person, well, I guess this is not the podcast for you. But you're probably not a human at that point if you don't like tangents.
Right, that's the whole point.
Right.
Of conversations.
But yeah, this has been our introduction. This is Harrison. He's a boomer, and I am James. I am the introvert, and this has been the Marching Arts Podcast, your guide to all things marching.